Hello everyone, journey to discover interesting facts about countries around the world. Today, let's go west of Asia to Israel. This is a small country with an area of only 20,770 square kilometers, excluding the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, and a population of around 9.7 million people, but it is very prosperous, with a nominal GDP of $522.53 billion in 2022, and a per capita GDP of $53,869. A region with 355 days of sunshine, and only a few tens of millimeters of rainfall each year, where the daytime temperature can reach 50 degrees Celsius, and the nighttime temperature can drop below freezing, but is still famous as a major agricultural exporter in the world. A country that has always been associated with war and violence, but has still emerged as a global technology leader. And there are many more surprises. Let's start the East and West story right away. One, terrain features. Although Israel's territory is quite small, it extends 470 kilometers from north to south, and 135 kilometers from east to west. Along with that, about half of the country's land area is semi-arid. But Israel has the topographic features of an entire continent, including plains, plateaus, mountains, and deserts. In the west of the country is the coastal plain. This region runs parallel to the Mediterranean Sea, including a sandy coastline and strips of fertile farmland that extend inland up to 40 kilometers in the south. In the north, the plain narrows to about 5 kilometers, interspersed with sandstone mountains and rock outcrops that jut out into the sea. This is home to over half of Israel's population, with major urban centers, deep-water ports, and attractive tourist destinations. Going north of Israel is the mountainous area. It includes the Golan Heights and the Galilee region. In particular, the Golan Heights is a basalt land, formed by volcanic eruptions about 4 million years ago. It has an average altitude of about 1,000 meters, and is characterized by steep cliffs overlooking the Hula Valley. Most of the mountains in Galilee are made of soft limestone and dolomite, with altitudes ranging from 500 to 1,200 meters above sea level. This is also home to the country's highest mountain, Mount Meron, located 1,208 meters above sea level. Nestled between the mountains of Galilee and the Golan Heights, lies the fertile Jordan River Valley. During its 300 kilometers journey from north to south, the river passes through Lake Kinneret, Israel's largest freshwater lake, and the lowest freshwater lake on Earth, at an altitude of 215 to 209 meters below sea level. Going south of Israel is the Negev Desert, covering more than half of the territory, and is the most sparsely populated area in the country. Much of this desert is protected by sandstone, making it unsuitable for agricultural production. It also possesses an exclusive geological system that no other desert has, which is Makdashim. They look like volcanoes, but are formed by the erosion of water, especially floods. 2. Country with the lowest point on Earth. Located on the border between Israel, Jordan, and the West Bank, is a salt lake called the Dead Sea. This is the lowest place on the continent, at about 435 meters below sea level. It is fed mainly by the Jordan River, and water here can only flow in but not out. In the past, this lake had a surface area of up to 1,050 square kilometers, but it is receding at a rapid rate, and now only 605 square kilometers remain. According to the Bible, its name comes from the deed. This is the place that submerged the most sinful lands and cities in history. But in fact, the name Dead Sea is given after its natural characteristics. Because there was no way to escape to the sea, the strong pumping concentrated the salt and created a hypersaline fluid. This creates a salt content in the Dead Sea that is about 8 times higher than in other seas around the world and creates a settlement environment in which it is difficult for plants and animals to thrive. Also, because of the high salt content, the buoyancy of the water in the Dead Sea is very great, so whether you know how to float or not, you will always float on the water's surface and never be submerged. Furthermore, the water of this lake contains many different minerals, which have been scientifically proven to treat several skin problems. That makes this lake even more famous and attracts a large number of tourists from all over the world. In addition, in 2017, Amram Dora, a local living in the Israeli city of Arad, created a lifelong work of art on the Dead Sea, commonly known as the loneliness tree. It was brought from the mainland by Dora, and then planted in the middle of a beach, about 90 meters from the lakeshore. Every day Dora rows a boat to the island to build around the tree, helping it have enough nutrients to survive in the harsh environment. The appearance of the lonely tree has surprised many people and has become more known to customers since 2019, when its image spread widely on Instagram and foreign press. 3. The only Jewish country in the world. Israel was established as an independent democratic state, and a Jewish state, on May 14, 1948. In 2023, Israel's population is estimated to be approximately 9.7 million. Of this population, 74.8% are Jewish, 20.8% are Arab, primarily Palestinian, and the remaining 4.4% are from other groups. As such, Israel is the only country in the world with a Jewish majority. The Jews have been in the land of Israel for more than 3,800 years, and have become one of the longest-lasting connections between a people and a land. Even when 99% of the Jews were exiled from their land, after the Babylonians destroyed the first temple, and the Romans dissolved the second temple, 1% of the Jews remained in Israel. No people in the ancient world who were saved in their homeland ever returned, but the Jews were a special case. They not only returned but also rebuilt their state, with the name called the State of Israel. The faith and unity of a nation helped the Jews, even though they were hundreds of thousands of kilometers apart, to finally be able to connect in modern times. That is why Israel has been considered by many people as one of the most inspirational countries in the world, as a reminder to everyone, never give up. But it was the return of the Jews that was the cause of the religious conflict that took place in the last century, between Jews and Palestinian Arabs. When each side follows a different religion, and considers the other side an invader, because both have a history of attachment to this area since ancient times. This is also the cause of the prolonged dispute between Israel and Palestine in recent times. Four countries are the world's technology superpowers. For the Jewish people, learning is the holiest act, the source of good morality. A person's piety, goodwill, gentleness, and elegance are all the results of education. And for them, the teacher is even greater than the king. Thanks to that tradition of valuing knowledge, despite limited natural resources, Israel has established itself as a leading technology center in the world for more than a decade, with export products key exports, such as machinery, equipment, and software. It also leads the world in spending on scientific and technological research as a percentage of GDP. In 2021, the sector accounts for about 12% of Israel's economic output, and 10% of its workforce. This is also the first country that Intel and Microsoft have chosen to build research and development facilities abroad. At the same time, many other multinational technology corporations have also opened centers in Israel, such as Google, Apple, Facebook, and Motorola. This country's development of advanced technology has put it on the same scale as the Silicon Valley of the United States. Israeli companies also excel in computer hardware and software development, especially security, semiconductor, and communications technology. Prominent names include Check Point, which created the world's first commercial firewall, or Amdocs, a company that creates operational and business support systems for telecommunications. Thanks to advances in science and technology, this country has created a miracle in the heart of the desert, and solved the serious water shortage here, with leading inventions in desalination and water recycling. The Sorek desalination plant is the largest seawater desalination facility using reverse osmosis technology in the world, providing Israelis with more than 600,000 cubic meters of fresh water every day. By 2014, Israel's desalination programs provided about 35% of its drinking water, and that is expected to reach 70% by 2050. This Jewish country, in particular, also possesses a high-tech weapons system that makes the whole world admire. Iron Dome is a mobile all-weather air defense system designed to intercept and destroy short-range missiles, along with artillery shells fired at distances ranging from 4 to 70 kilometers. It was launched in March 2011, and on April 7, 2011, Iron Dome successfully intercepted a Grad missile launched from the Gaza Strip, marking the first time in history that a short-range missile was intercepted. This device was later used more commonly, during the 2012 Israel-Gaza conflict, where it demonstrated a very high effectiveness rate, reaching between 95 and 99%, in intercepting enemy projectiles. During the 2021 Israeli-Palestinian crisis, from May 11 to 21, Hamas fired more than 4,300 rockets from the Gaza Strip into Israel, but the Iron Dome system intercepted about 90% of them, targeting them to densely populated areas. The country has the most holy capital in the world. Jerusalem was declared the country's capital by the Israeli government in 1980, and maintained its governmental institutions and control there. While the Palestinian state also considers this to be their center of power, and places territorial claims in this city, the dispute between Israel and Palestine over sovereignty over Jerusalem has lasted for decades, and is one of the most tense issues of the conflict between Israel and Arab countries. The reason Jerusalem is so important is because of its historical and cultural values. Founded around the 4th millennium BC, Jerusalem has gone through many ups and downs, with 2 times of destruction, dozens of sieges, attacks, invasions, and reconstruction. It is said that in each layer of its soil, different parts of history are hidden. Unlike other modern and bustling cities in Israel, Jerusalem is considered a holy city, as it is the meeting place of 3 major religions, which are Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. At its center is the Old Town, with quaint alleys leading to sites associated with all 3 religions. That is the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, believed to be the place where Jesus was crucified on the cross, and where he was buried and resurrected. The cathedral has been a major Christian pilgrimage destination since its foundation in the 4th century, and is the traditional site of Jesus' resurrection. Hence its original name in Greek is called the Church of the Resurrection, or the Al-Aqsa Mosque, where the Prophet Muhammad flew to heaven on a winged horse. It has the structure of a Byzantine basilica, and the dome is visible from afar. Finally, there is the Wailing Wall, where Abraham, the father of the Jews, offered his son Isaac as a sacrifice. Therefore, it is considered the holiest and most important site for Jews around the world, and attracts millions of worshippers to pilgrimage every year. At present, the Wailing Wall has large blocks of stone placed on top of each other, with each stone weighing from 2 to 8 tons, finely carved and neatly arranged. The reason it is called the Wailing Wall is because historically, this is where Jews came to pray for the fate of their people, when they were always invaded and experiencing constant war. People also believe that if you write a prayer on a piece of paper and place it in a certain slot of the wall, that prayer will come true. Six Paradise for gay and transgender people. Mentioning Jews means mentioning many strict laws. But few people know that this is one of the most open countries in the Middle East, in terms of laws for gay and transgender people. Since 1988, this country has legalized homosexual activity, and is the first Asian country to allow same-sex couples to live together without registering marriage. Starting in 1993, homosexuals were officially allowed to serve in the Israeli army. And now the LGBT community has the right to live freely and openly in this country. Here, same-sex couples also enjoy inheritance rights, medical care, and pensions like other normal couples. Gay women also enjoy the right to infertility treatment. And since 2005, LGBT people in Israel can adopt children from others. The city of Tel Aviv, located on Israel's Mediterranean coast, is known as a paradise for the LGBT community, and was named the best gay city in the world by American Airlines. In January 2008, Tel Aviv established the city's LGBT community center, and provides all cultural and urban services to this community. It is also where the annual gay parade takes place. The program is funded by the government, and attracts a large number of third-sex communities around the world. It is estimated that the number of gay people currently accounts for 25% of Tel Aviv's population, which is about 116,000 people. In addition, Tel Aviv is also known as the city that never sleeps, and is the party capital of Israel thanks to its vibrant nightlife, youthful atmosphere, and 24-hour culture. Famous. The city's beaches also play an important role in tourism development, and are often ranked highly among the most beautiful beaches in the world. Seven. The country has the shortest subway system in the world. Carmelit is a metro line in the Israeli city of Haifa, responsible for connecting Mount Carmel with downtown Haifa. Construction began in 1956 and ended in 1959, making Carmelit the oldest underground transportation system in the Middle East, and the only metro in Israel, until the launch of the Tel Aviv Light Rail Line in 2023. This is also the smallest subway system in the world, with only 4 cars, 6 stations, and a single 1.8 kilometers long tunnel. Because it is a climbing route and the height difference between the first and last station is 274 meters, the Carmelit train has an inclined design, and the floor of each car is never flat. Nowadays most people do not live near any of Carmelit's stations, so it is less used than before. There were discussions by the government about expanding the tunnel, so that Carmelit could reach more people, but all were unsuccessful, mainly due to funding problems. Eight. Has one of the oldest seaports in the world. The old port of Jaffa is part of southern Tel Aviv in Israel. It is considered one of the oldest seaports in the world, and is home to a multicultural community, including Muslims, Christians, and Jews. Ancient documents and archaeology show that Jaffa existed as a seaport for more than 7,000 years, before ancient Egypt. It is mentioned in various ancient writings, including in the Hebrew Bible, and in the writings of Josephus describing the history of the Jews, and the First Jewish-Roman War. Today, the area of the ancient Jaffa port still hosts the commercial activities of local fishermen, is also a marina, and an attractive tourist destination. In addition, when visiting Jaffa port, you also have the opportunity to visit the old town of Jaffa, built on a hill overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. This place is filled with old brick houses, cobbled streets, and winding alleys. All will help you have unforgettable experiences about an ancient and culturally rich land. (9) The first country in the world to ban super skinny models. The fashion industry's use of underweight models on the runway, and in magazines for many years, has sparked heated debate around the world. Critics say this promotes an unhealthy body image mindset in women, contributing to anorexia and other eating disorders. They also affirm that being beautiful does not mean being underweight, and being beautiful does not mean being anorexic. According to a 2010 study, about 2% of girls aged 14 to 18 in Israel have an eating disorder, and nearly 1,500 have died from the disease. Against that background, in 2012, Israel was the first country in the world to pass a body image law, and it officially took effect in early 2013. This country's law requires all models to have a body image law. Body mass index, or BMI, over 18.5 is required to participate in catwalk shows, photo shoots, or advertising campaigns. BMI is an index based on a person's weight per height squared, and is often used to determine an individual's body condition. This new law also prohibits the use of advertising images in which the model looks underweight, including the use of Photoshop or graphics programs to edit photos to make the model look thinner than in real life. (10) Country has many women in the military. The Israel Defense Forces, or IDF for short, is the sole military wing of the Israeli security apparatus, consisting of the Israeli Ground Forces, the Israeli Air Force, and the Israeli Navy. This is also one of the most formidable military organizations in the world, as it possesses a series of high-tech weapons researched and produced by Israel itself, and is also said to have maintained the ability to operate nuclear weapons since 1967. An interesting thing about the Israeli army is that they overcome gender stereotypes to accept the use of a large number of women in the army. This is completely contrary to reality in many surrounding countries. Since independence in 1948, Jewish women have had a significant presence in the country's political landscape. This is also one of the few countries in the world that requires 2 years of mandatory military service for women. Especially the girls in the Israeli Defense Forces are mostly very beautiful, and at a very young age. Many of them also studied at military seminaries before enlisting, with the determination to go to the battlefield to fight. In 2022, the IDF plans to create new combat units, 100% female, specifically for female soldiers who want to serve on the front lines, but are concerned about being near soldiers male. But the topic of female soldiers remains a hot-button issue for some religious leaders, and those who oppose gender equality in the military. According to The Times, some critics have criticized that this will bring potential risks to national security, and the military's operational efficiency will also be affected. The IDF's decision also caused a lot of controversy on social networking sites. Besides supporters, there are also many opinions that sending women to become soldiers is inappropriate. And those are 10 interesting facts about Israel. If you find the video interesting and meaningful, please give us one like and one channel subscription. Hello and see you again in the next videos.